Hello everyone, hope you're doing all right. All right, so I'm going to go over my current routine and what I think about the market, etc., which pairs I'm looking to trade, etc., etc. All right, so the first thing that we talked about yesterday as well is you first want to take a look at the news drivers. So that's exactly what I did, right? I looked at the news drivers and I was just scrolling through this week's news drivers. Sorry. And right here, Monday, not that super exciting. We have some medium impact news. We do have Empire State Manufacturing Index. That's kind of interesting. So it could give some moves, but biggest the biggest volatility will be on Tuesday, as you can see. So we have USD, we have Australian dollar, GBP high impact, we have Euro high impact, Canadian dollar high impact, and USD again, USD high impact. Now, for the rest of the week, we have some JPY USD as well, a lot of USD, some GBP, some Euro, and here we have Euro bank holiday. So here we have Australian dollar, USD again, Canadian dollar, USD again, etc., etc., JPY, Australian dollar. There's a few currencies that are recurring every time. So I wrote them down right here. Dollar, Australian dollar, Great British Pound, then Canadian dollar, Euro, and JPY. Those are the main currencies that I'm going to be looking at this week. Now, of course, this is a lot, right? This is a lot of currencies. These form a lot of pairs. So the key is we need to filter out essentially the pairs, and we need to filter out the cleanest price action, the cleanest where we are just moving out of some sort of higher time frame PD array. When we see that, or we are hovering above or below a higher time frame PD array on that pair ahead of the day, and we combine it with a news event, for example, Australian dollar, US dollar. If we are hovering above or below a PD array, then that news will likely spike into the PD array, and then we have a very clean day that we can trade. All right. Now, for the dollar in itself, for the US dollar right here, this is the weekly chart. So I like to take a look at the weekly chart first and take a look right here. What can we potentially reach for? Well, we have a very clear, clean, fair value gap right here. We just came off of this low. So we swept some sell side liquidity right here. And I think we are now, I'm pretty sure the highest probability is that we are currently heading to this weekly fair value gap. So that already sets the tone essentially. That's a great information to have, because then, because our news drivers are also a lot of US dollars, then we can take a look at the major pairs again, and we can take a look and trade, especially on the high impact days. We can trade the US dollar pairs, so the majors. So that's also your indices. You won't see indices right here, but the indices, if we take a look at them, they are, I didn't necessarily like them, as in, I didn't really think they were clean, so I left them out of here. Nasdaq could move higher off of this daily order block. So if you combine this with a news event, some kind of news event right here for the US dollar, then we could see a spike of the previous day low, etc. That's all dependent on that current PDA. On that current PA, the current price action. So what do I mean by that? Well, if Monday is a consolidation, because we don't have necessarily very high impact news, then if Monday is consolidation, then on Tuesday, with the high volatility day, because we have news on Tuesday, high impact, especially for the Australian dollar and the dollar. So if we take a look at the Australian dollar, US dollar, if Monday is consolidation, then Tuesday could spike into a fair value gap overlapping with maybe an order block or anything. And then we could see lower prices, because that Tuesday is a high volatility day. So then you're picking out the right day to trade. You are essentially picking out that low resistance liquidity run and using that economic calendar as your roadmap. All right. So if we take a look right here, again, like I said, right, these are a lot of pairs. So we are not trading every pair on this list during a session or during a day. No, that is all dependent on price action ahead of that session or ahead of the day. So if I wake up and I'm doing my London before analysis, then I take a look, I scroll through the pairs, and some pairs will jump out to my eye and some will not. And then I filter out the best pair that I think has the most potential right now with the news events combined. And then I only execute on that pair for the day. So still, it is one execution pair always. I'm not scrolling through when I'm trading London. I'm not scrolling through all these pairs and I'm looking at, oh, I can trade this, I can trade this, I can trade this. No, I'm focusing on one pair for that London session. Same for New York. I'm focusing on one pair for that New York session. So generally, I trade one pair for the day. So if I wake up, well, it starts at the evening, right? Just before I go to bed, I look at the chart. All right, what can I expect for tomorrow? All right, perfect. Then I outline it. Then I already have a great idea of the pairs I might want to trade. And then on the day itself, so on Monday morning, for example, just ahead of London, then I pick out the pair I want to trade for that day. Now on Monday, there might not be anything because we are currently, we have an expansion. We are currently expanding to some PD arrays. So Monday, I will not be actively looking for us to trade or for me to trade, sorry. And I hope Monday could make some consolidation, and then Tuesday could sweep previous day high, previous day low, and then into some sort of fair value gap, and then continue higher. So for example, what you could see right here, right? We have Euro, Australian dollar. And again, this is a lot of things to grasp. I understand it might be a bit overwhelming, but again, we'll touch on this throughout the week, again and again and again. And you need to understand that price action will develop throughout the week. So these news events, etc., and the price action combined with the news drivers will make more sense throughout the week, because now I can say stuff, but it might be totally different throughout the week because we anticipate something and then we adapt. We don't predict. We are constantly reacting off of price, and that's very important to do, right? So I hope to record live sessions as well on Tuesday, on Thursday, and take you fully through my routine as well. But again, that's all dependent on what price action does, right? All right, so Euro, Australian dollar. We just came off of this weekly order block, right? We have a nice rejection. We do have a weekly fair value gap that's currently sitting there because we open up with a new candle. Then we have a weekly fair value gap. There's something to take into account. But again, there is no bearish arguments currently. There's only bullish arguments because we still have bullish order flow right here. So we're still coming off of this weekly order block. If price does want to go higher, where will likely continue higher from? This weekly order block, right? All right, then we do have something on the daily fair value gaps as well. But again, what is stronger, the weekly or the daily? The weekly is stronger. So the weekly order block will be stronger than this daily fair value gap. So if we do want to continue higher, then it will follow the weekly. And inside the weekly, we need to have a daily context. All right, so Euro, Australian dollar, if we are expecting higher prices, and I'll go a little bit more in detail on how I got to higher prices, etc. as well. Well, if we take a look right here, we have a current daily fair value gap. So what could Monday do? Monday, we have Euro group meeting right here, medium impact. We have my FX book sentiment. Again, don't pay attention to that. I don't know why it's even there, but don't pay attention to that. It's not relevant. They don't actually impact the price. And then right here, we have Euro medium impact. Again, we have some USD, all medium impact, right, on Monday. All right, the Monday could be tradable, but we are not near a clear PD array right now. So that's what I'm trying to say, right? That's why I'm most likely waiting on Monday, because we are not coming into some sort of discount or premium array. So euro, Australian dollar, we are not coming into some sort of discount array. So the two go hand in hand. The news drivers and the price actually need to go hand in hand. They are like the gears, like the order of proceeding. They are like the gears that keep everything running. If the one gear is off, then the other is also off. They both need to be on. All right. Then on Tuesday, we can see Australian dollar in the middle of the night right here. This is all Amsterdam time. So this is my time that's in the middle of the night. That's during Asia session. So what this does a lot of the time, right? Monday doesn't really have high impact news or anything. So Monday could, and again, this is all probabilities, right? This is not something binary. So it could be totally off, but this is all probabilities that have played out before and that are reoccurring essentially. So Monday could be some sort of consolidation right here. And then Tuesday, in the middle of the night, there's news. So on that day, on Tuesday, there is going to be high volatility because we also have Euro news. So we have a lot of news. We have Australian dollar high impact and we have Euro high impact. So during that London session, what could happen is we spike into this daily fair value gap and then we continue higher. So we know the volatility is coming in for Australian dollar and Euro pairs on Tuesday and even on Wednesday. Wednesday, Euro CPI as well. There's a lot of volatility coming into the market for Euro and Australian dollar pairs on Tuesday. The same for Canadian dollar pairs, the same for US dollar pairs. The volatility of this week, same for GBP, the volatility of this week will come into the market on Tuesday. Now, what does this mean? This is when you'll see weekly profiles play out, right? This is how we can anticipate Tuesday, Wednesday, high and low of the week, for example. Why? Just off the basis what I just said. Monday is not where the volatility most likely will come into the market. So Monday might be a slow day. We might just start up, etc. Slow day, slow day. Then on Tuesday, Monday consolidation, notice we are hovering above a discount array on Monday. And then on Tuesday, because the volatility is in the day, news, what is news? News is where the volatility comes in. News is where the manipulation happens, where the real moves happen. More so than a kill zone, I would argue. So I would say news events are better than a kill zone. And right here, if we want to trade London, then we could expect a London move potentially into the discount array, into the daily fair value gap that we are hovering above on Monday. Previous day, low sweep into the daily fair value gap. And then the volatility continues into Wednesday right here. So what could Wednesday be? It could be on the 4-hour. It could be some sort of new 4-hour fair value gap, retracement into the 4-hour fair value gap, and a continuation higher. And then on Thursday, we have a lot of bank holidays. So on Thursday, it might be a bit slower. So if we want to catch the majority of the week, the main price action, then for this week, the biggest moves will happen in the middle of the week. So Tuesday, Wednesday, more than likely, that's where the big moves will happen. So I hope this makes sense. Again, it's a bit, maybe it's a bit hard to grasp in the beginning, but if you truly study this and you go over all your weekly reviews and you incorporate news, etc., then it will make more sense. News is what the market is revolving around, essentially. So it's very important. All right, now let me finish my story on the pairs right here. So dollar higher. If dollar is going higher, obviously world reserve currency, basically the whole world is based off of the dollar currently. That might change in the future. We might see the Chinese yen take over, but that's not important for now. Now, then Australian dollar, we swept the previous month's high. So I'm expecting us to take these equal lows. And on the daily, we have an order block right here that we could reach into. So a spike, boom, into the order block, and then whatever happens after is irrelevant currently. Just we know, all right, we can see lower prices on the Australian dollar. So that makes the dollar already strong. And again, I take notes during this, right? I have a journal next to me and I take notes. So I have the news drivers. The majority of the news drivers are on dollar, Australian dollar, GBP, Canadian dollar, euro, yen. All right, noted. Next, strong pair, weak pair. Dollar, strong. Australian dollar, weak. What does that create? Australian dollar, US dollar. That's your pair. Then this right here is ready for shorting. On which day? On the day where the volatility comes in. What day is the volatility coming in? How can we know this? News drivers that we looked at the beginning. Tuesday, high impact news drivers. So on Tuesday, there is majority of the volatility for the beginning of the week. So on Tuesday, if we are hovering below some sort of premium array, then we could see a spike into it on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, we have again, like I said, we have USD news. On Thursday, we have Australian dollar news again. So these Wednesday and Thursday, we could see nice trending days. Again, and this is how you incorporate, all right? This is how you get to your low resistance liquidity run for that week. There's nothing more to it. This is all the you could call the sauce you need it. You need it. And there's nothing more to it. This is the, I don't like the word, but this is the sauce, essentially. All right. So that could already be your Australian dollar, US dollar pair, right? If you like it, then stick to that one. Perfect. Then GBP, we came into this monthly SIBI right here. Now we are seeing a reaction currently, and we could head to this order block, to this monthly order block. So the open right here. And then on the daily, I saw this fair value gap, which I quite like, because everything here, everything above this is rebalanced, right? So if we are not rebalancing, then we are taking liquidity. Now, this is where the perfect combination comes in, because here we're taking liquidity to rebalance. We're taking this trend line liquidity to rebalance this fair value gap potentially. So that's something to take into account. Then inside this monthly order block, we could reach into this daily fair value gap. So that could be our drawn liquidity, our target. All right, then we know GBP is likely weak. Again, combine it with a strong pair. What does that create? GU, GBP, US dollar. So GBP, US dollar, short, same targets right here. And on which day do we want to short? Well, ideally on Tuesday, because that's where the volatility is coming in. All right, again, I think it's starting to make sense now, right? We need to have this news drivers and the price action in perfect harmony. And that's what you saw me do on GBP Australian dollar. The price action and the news drivers were in perfect harmony. So we came into a weekly PD array, and then we displaced away, and I could take an entry on the 1 hour because the price action and the news events are in harmony. And now the fun thing is, because of the news events, price action will likely already be in harmony because everything is based around news events. So the clean moves, the clean entries will be on days where we have news events. Now, I'm not talking about USD CPI, USD FOMC, USD NFP. On those days, that's likely not where you'll see clean moves. But after the fact, whenever these high news events drop, like CPI, FOMC, NFP, after they are released, that's when you'll maybe see clean moves. Because, again, everything is based off of news. Everything is based off of news. So all the clean entries, all the clean moves will happen around news events. All right. And also the majority of the moves and the highest volatile moves and the fastest to your target moves, essentially. And again, that's not saying get in 1 minute before CPI. No, don't do that. All right. So GBP is weak. Now, right here, we have Canadian dollar, again, also weak right here. Canadian dollar is the one I like the least because we're not really, well, we're coming off of this rejection block. But if we take a look at USD Canadian dollar, we are quite in a range right here. On the weekly, not really clean, in my opinion. So this is the one I like the least. So again, that already tells me a lot, right? Just by looking at this weekly chart right here, I could force something 100%. I could miss a move during the week 100%. But it's just not clean in my opinion. And that's just what it is, right? It is what it is. And we can't do much about it. So we have a lot of other pairs we can take a look at. So you could even just remove this one completely. Again, you might miss a move. Who cares? That's just the reality. We are not here to catch every move. Euro, again, same thing, right? Same thing as GBP. Right here we have this one, this daily fair value gap we could reach into. So that's interesting to take a look at. Really nice as well. Euro weak, dollar strong. What does that create? EU. EU, same targets as well. So short EU. Perfect. Then the yen. The yen is basically always the opposite of the dollar because the yen is a safe haven. If the dollar is strong, then yen will be a bit weaker. If the dollar is weak, then the yen will be a safe haven for all investors. So if the dollar is weak, then all money will flow into the yen. And that's why you always see it move the opposite essentially. So dollar going up, yen going lower, we could target these relatively equal lows right here, which could be interesting. Right here, coming off of a weekly fair value gap, coming off of a weekly order block right here. So order flow still on the weekly is bearish. Now on the monthly, we could aim for this monthly fair value gap right here. All right, so see how everything is in context of the higher time frame, of the time frame above it. So on the yen, we could see potentially a fair value gap close here. Monday could be consolidation. There's no high impact for the yen on Monday. When is the high impact coming into the market for the yen? Wednesday. So what could happen? Wednesday could spike up into that premium ray, and then we could see lower prices. And Wednesday is when the real move will likely happen. But again, this is all speculation, right? We need to have price action in that current moment. Then it will become way clearer to agree with us. That's very important. Because Tuesday could already spike into it, and Wednesday, the news driver could just be a continuation. That's why we need to wait for the actual price action. And we can just sit here and speculate and predict, but we need to react with current price action that we are working with. But again, we know majority of the volatility will come in on Wednesday for the yen. So that's very interesting to know. Then I have Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar right here, and Euro GBP. Why? Well, Euro GBP, I'm expecting higher prices, at least until this weekly fair value gap right here. We're coming off this weekly fair value gap, weekly discount to weekly premium, weekly discount right here, weekly premium right here. Now, right here, I said in the Discord, I want to see a higher price on Euro GBP of this breaker. We got it. Perfect. Now, right here, this is interesting because we know now Euro GBP is going higher. So Euro is the stronger currency currently than GBP. Euro is currently stronger than GBP. So if we're looking to short GU or EU, then which pair do we want to short? If Euro is currently stronger than GBP, then we want to short GBP. So GU. This is the pair we want to short. Ideally, of course, if EU also has clean price action, then be my guest and also short EU. But just keep in mind, GBP is currently weaker than EU. So this will likely have more potential of going lower. And then again, same thing for Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar is going higher currently. It is failing to take out this low. It is essentially not really clean, but we are seeing it's disrespecting this order block as well, and it could continue higher here. So if we know this, then which one is the stronger pair currently? Australian dollar. So what did we just create as well? Euro, GBP, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. We created Euro is strong. NZD, New Zealand dollar, is weak. What does that create? Euro, NZD. Euro, NZD, longs. Euro, NZD. Weekly order block right here. Coming off a weekly order block. We do have a weekly fair value gap potentially in the making here. not potentially, well, because we open up, there's a weekly fair value gap here, something to take into account. But again, if we want to continue higher, where will we likely continue higher from? Right here. So we know this. Daily should be in context. Daily, we create an ST. 4 hour, we have some discount raise. All right, interesting. Now, Monday, do we have Euro or New Zealand dollar news? Not really. Euro group meeting, but the majority of the news will come into the market on Tuesday for Euro. All right, interesting. So, wait a minute. So, we know Euro has majority of the volatility on Tuesday coming into the market. Then on Wednesday, we have some Euro. And then we had very little New Zealand dollar, so only a little Friday. So Euro will likely be the volatility driver in this case. If we know this, volatility is coming in on Tuesday and Wednesday. All right. So Monday could be a consolidation. Tuesday and Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday, spike into the daily discount and then a continuation higher. See how I'm forming my logic here. But again, same thing, right? Australian dollar strong. Which is the weak pair? GBP right here. Now, this is an interesting part because this will sometimes contradict. So I only like to take the actual first strong and weak pair right here because GBP is still coming off of this weekly order block. And I'm not trying to call a top right here just off of the dollar. I would want to see this weekly get disrespect or some 4 hour order flow start to hold, etc. All right, so these are the current pairs. Again, USD Canadian dollar is not that interesting for me currently. Nothing really clean. Of course, we could force something, but like I said, US dollar yen. This is one I do like. We have equal highs, and these equal highs are hovering below this monthly SIBI. So on the daily, we have just created a new order block. So if we open or if we create a fair value gap on Monday, then we have an order block with a fair value gap on Tuesday. When is the volatility coming into the market for the US dollar or the yen? US dollar on Tuesday, yen on Wednesday. Tuesday and Wednesday will likely be great days for the US dollar yen. Again, we are working with probabilities. I'm not saying something binary here. So this is not 100% it will happen thing. No, probabilities. Think in probabilities always. So right here, we could see a spike down Tuesday or Wednesday into that daily fair value gap. And again, don't be scared of that spike down. That spike down is supposed to happen. That's what we're anticipating to happen. So that's very important. And then we continue higher. And Monday, consolidation. Hopefully, maybe. We'll just see and anticipate. Again, price action needs to agree, right? If we see something change during that time, then we react. We're not trying to predict. All right, so these are all the pairs. Again, go over your own study. You don't need to trade exact same pairs as me. You might see something else as well. That's perfect. That's great. We are here to create an individual trader. You're not supposed to be reliable off of me. I shouldn't be holding your hand your entire life. No, I'm here to create that individual trader. And that's very important to acknowledge, right? So if you're looking at something else than me, or you have a different approach to the market than me, perfectly fine. And again, I'm not disregarding the indices. I just don't see anything clear currently. So ES, NQ, YM, even DAX, I don't see really anything clear currently. We could expand higher, we could expand lower. It's been in some sort of consolidation. If I were to trade the indices, I would look at NASDAQ right here. And then again, going over the same news driver events for the US dollar impacts, NASDAQ indices, etc. All right. I hope this makes sense. Rewatch it a couple times if it doesn't. And again, we'll touch on this way more throughout this week. So very excited for this week. Very excited for the upcoming week. Hopefully we have some clean price action to work with. Would be awesome. All right. Thank you, everyone. And I'll see you at the next one.